Tonight on the Night Team.
This community as a whole suffered a tragedy.
The town of Raywick coming together in prayer as two of their firefighters stay hospitalized with serious injuries after an engine rollover crash. Plus, less than a week after production started at the Glendale plant, some Blue Oval SK battery plant employees are wanting to unionize, with the vote set to start tomorrow.
I'm not ashamed of being pro-union.
And later, are you tired of waiting in long lines to get your license renewed?
I passed my license driver and just now I have to renew the license, but it's take a long time.
How one state lawmaker from northern Kentucky is hoping to shorten the driver's licensing lines. Right now on the WHAS11 Night Team. The city of Raywick, Kentucky and the surrounding area continue to grieve the tragic crash that sent two of their firefighters to the hospital. Thanks for joining us here on the Night Team. I'm Alex Dieterer. 51-year-old Brian Hatt and 58-year-old Leonard Winkler were on their way to help at a scene with a neighboring department when their fire truck went off the road, throwing Hatt from the truck and trapping Winkler. The Night Team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Aspen Hester heard how the men have dedicated their lives to service as their community now prays for them and their families.
We have all been close to our knees in the last few days praying for Brian and for Leonard.
Families of Raywick firefighters Brian Hatt and Leonard Winkler find comfort in the community after a crash sent both men to the hospital Friday.
When one hurts, they all come together to do what they can do to help each other out. They don't let anyone fight alone, and that is definitely the true meaning of brotherhood and sisterhood, and not only just the community service, but in the fire hood.
Army veterans Hatt and Winkler were en route to assist neighboring Loretto Fire Department when Hatt, who was driving the truck, lost control on Kentucky 527 and hit an embankment, causing the truck to overturn. Hatt was thrown from the truck, and Winkler was trapped inside.
You know, they're brothers. You know, we know these guys. We train with them. We're a big family, even though we're just a few miles apart. I mean, a lot of love. We love each other.
Captain Avril Thompson is with the Loretto Fire Department.
Yeah, and if you knew him, you'd have a friend as soon as you knew him.
Hatt is in U of L's ICU. His family has scheduled to donate his organs Monday. The department said Winkler is doing well and being treated at the University of Kentucky Hospital.
And Leonard's joining us via Facebook tonight as well.
On St. Francis Raywick Road, cars speed around the corner where Hatt and Winkler went off the road, just 5 minutes from their fire station.
They need to put a guardrail up or widen it or something. But they need to definitely get this fixed.
In her years living off this road, Mary Hall says she's seen many crashes, but none like the one Friday.
Damn, I mean, it just, so all of a sudden, I mean, you see them go up the road and then they hit that bank there and it flipped up in the air and then it exploded. Pieces went everywhere.
Broken glass and pieces of plastic are still in the yard where Hall frantically helped look for Hatt and Winkler.
It's like a nightmare. That's what it is. I mean, it would scare you half to death.
Back at the fire station,
This candle represents Brian and Leonard. This candle represents the Raywick Fire Department.
the light of Hatt, Winkler, and the Raywick Fire Department stays burning. For a community they've dedicated their lives to, now they're returning the favor. In Raywick, Clarice Shaley, WHAS11 Night Team on your side.
A GoFundMe has been set up to help Brian Hatt's family with medical costs. You can find more information and the link on our website, WHAS11.com. And take a look at this water main break tonight. This happened tonight at Southwestern Parkway and River Park Drive around 8. A spokesperson with Louisville Water Company told us a 12-inch main broke. And despite the amount of water that you see right here, the company said there is minimal impact. Less than 10 customers are affected. A crew is working to repair the pipe as quickly as possible. And new tonight, a teenager has been arrested in connection to the shooting that happened at a Mayfield football game Friday night. Mayfield police say a 14-year-old male from Fulton, Kentucky was arrested and charged with first-degree assault. Police say the suspect shot 18-year-old Jordan Riley from Farmington, Kentucky, who suffered serious gunshot wounds to his arm and upper torso. He is stable right now in an out-of-state hospital. Mayfield police say the suspect is now being held at a juvenile detention center and the investigation remains ongoing. Officials are asking anyone with information to contact Mayfield Dispatch or Crime Stoppers. You can also text WKY to 738477. We have an update for you on the story we first told you about yesterday out of Cave City, Kentucky, where a man was driving a skid steer and flipping cars after a civil dispute. 76-year-old Roy Spiker then fled the scene and went to a house where the homeowner shot at him and damaged a car. That's according to police. Spiker was arrested yesterday evening and is set to appear in court tomorrow. He's charged with 1 count of first-degree wanton endangerment and 1 count of first-degree criminal mischief. There were no reported injuries. Employees at the new Blue Oval SK plant in Glendale are looking to unionize. Production started at the Hardin County Electric Battery Plant less than a week ago. Batteries from the plant will power the all-electric Ford F-150 Lightning. That plant is expected to create 5,000 jobs and has already filled nearly 1,500 of those. Workers tell us that after months of pushing, they have received the green light from the National Labor Relations Board to hold an election to enter the bargaining stage of unionizing. We spoke to a battery plant employee today ahead of the vote that's supposed to take place this week.
I think of it as a new chapter of Blue Oval. I don't see anything really negative as people portray it to be, because the union is us collectively, right? So, you know, you vote in your leadership for the UAW. I'm not ashamed of being pro-union, and I will never be ashamed of pro-union, and I'll always continue to be my coworkers' voice if need be.
The voting process is supposed to start tomorrow. In a statement shared with WHAS11 last month, a representative with Blue Oval SK said, quote, "We celebrate and empower each team member to define their own success for themselves. Blue Oval SK team members are free to choose whether to keep a direct relationship with leaders or turn over their voice to a labor union," end quote. Right now, the right lane of I-265 East at the bridge over Bardstown Road is closed for maintenance. The repairs will last until 5 tomorrow morning. And also happening right now, some lanes on I-264 East and West near Brownsboro Road are also closed. That construction is from 8 p.m. to 6 in the morning, and that started today and goes through Wednesday. This is all part of a $130 million improvement project on the Watterson Expressway. JCPS pulled all of their fresh milk from school cafeterias this week after students complained it tasted funny. The district says staff caught the issue during a daily quality check and removed the milk immediately. JCPS notified the health department to make sure food safety procedures were followed. In an update, a JCPS spokesperson says their supplier, which is Prairie Farms, expects to deliver new milk by the end of this next week. Until then, students will be offered water, juice, and shelf-stable milk with their meals. Well, scary moments in the skies Saturday morning. An American Airlines flight from Philadelphia to Phoenix made an emergency landing at Washington Dulles International Airport. The airline says a passenger's device started smoking mid-flight, forcing crew members to divert. More than 160 passengers and 6 crew members were on board when smoke filled the cabin. Passengers say a battery caught fire and the crew secured the device in a fire containment bag. Carrie Grant, who's a retired commercial airline captain, described what happened.
My biggest concern was a fire on board the flight. As soon as the flight attendants say we've got a fire on board, I guarantee the pilots are thinking about where can we get this airplane down as quickly as possible.
With the limited information released by the airline, Grant says the crew sounds like they did exactly what they should have. No one was hurt, and the Federal Aviation Administration is investigating the incident. President Donald Trump is mobilizing up to 1,700 National Guardsmen across Indiana and 18 other states. This move follows requests from governors across the country asking for additional support to address civil unrest. Fox News reports the deployment includes personnel from multiple states, with some already arriving in affected areas. The National Guard will assist law enforcement in maintaining order and protecting public safety. The decision comes amid ongoing protests and demonstrations nationwide. ABC's Allison Cossack has the details.
On the heels of President Trump's mobilization of nearly 2,000 National Guard troops to the nation's capital, a U.S. official says planning is underway to potentially expand that mission, including to Chicago. A plan first reported by the Washington Post, no official deployment has been ordered, and the Defense Department is refusing to speculate on future operations. But late last week, the president suggested his focus could soon shift to other Democratic-led cities.
Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker blasting the president, accusing him of manufacturing a crisis and abusing his power. New York's Governor Kathy Hochul is also pushing back, a spokesperson telling ABC News crime is down across New York City and the state, and that the president's calls to use military power undermines the work being done. Democratic lawmakers in Washington, D.C. accusing the president of abusing his authority, declaring a crime emergency, even though, according to police, violent crime data is at a 30-year low. In nearby Maryland, Governor Wes Moore has also been targeted by the president, pointing to Baltimore's falling violent crime numbers. In a post on social media, Trump writing Moore asked that I walk the streets of Maryland with him. If Wes Moore needs help, I will send in the troops, which is being done in nearby D.C., and quickly clean up the crime. The governor responding on CBS's Face the Nation, calling President Trump's comments unconstitutional and hypocritical.
For a party that talks about state rights, it's amazing how they're having such a big government approach in the way they're conducting public safety.
And in California, the state is suing the Trump administration over the deployment of hundreds of National Guardsmen and active duty Marines to Los Angeles, a case still playing out in court. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
And still ahead, are you tired of those long lines just to get a new Kentucky driver's license? Well, up next after the break, we're hearing from the state lawmaker who wants to put the process back into local control.